All right, we've made it to the end. The need to route efficiently is extremely important. There's a lot of considerations that we need to get into. You need to know your network. And what do I mean by that? Not only do you need to know how many routers are you going to use and the type of routing. If you're going to use 10 routers, if you know that in your network you have 10 routers, you can say, well, hey, I don't mind. There's not that many subnets. We can use static routes. It's going to be more efficient on the routers. They're not going to be bogged down with sending all these updates, and you have total control. And it's really, depending on the amount of subnets you have, it's really not that much on you, the administrator. But if you have over 10 routers, definitely, and then that means your subnets are going to increase. You don't want to maintain that manually. You want to let your routing protocols, dynamic routes, take over, which brings us to even more questions. Is bandwidth an issue? If it's an issue, then remember, we talked about 3 different routing protocols. We talked about RIP, EIGRP, and OSPF. Well, RIP doesn't really care about bandwidth. He can care less if you have an OC3 line or a dial-up line that's 23 kilobits per second. He just looks at hop counts. EIGRP would be a great protocol to use, but then what happens? You can only use Cisco routers. That doesn't mean that's a bad thing, but that's what will have to happen. Or another question you can ask yourself, what are the growth expectations of this particular company? Is this a law firm? Is this a doctor's office? Is this a real estate office? Is this a surveying company? Is this company going to grow very large, over 255 routers, which is the maximum hop count of EIGRP? Then you would say, well, I will have to use OSPF, where it has that scalability. But remember, when using OSPF, it's going to burn your routers. So you got to buy some beefy routers. That way, it won't bog them down. So as you can see, there's a lot of things, a lot of variables that you need to consider before you even begin to start routing. You got to know your network. And one of the biggest goals in routing, if you are going to grow immensely above 255, is you need to make sure to make it hierarchical. That means you keep your routing tables minimized. So before you start buying all these routers, make sure that you've already known your network so you don't start just placing routers all over the place with different types of manufacturers, and then you're going to run into a bottleneck or a stop point. So with that, I wish you good luck. Thank you.